Welcome to Veterans Archives, where your story matters. We are dedicated to preserving the stories of our nation's heroes for future generations. Today is Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. I'm here with Vern Evans, who served in the United States Marine Corps. So good morning, Vern.
Morning.
It's great to meet you, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, like I said before, we're going to start out really simple. If you would just tell me, when and where were you born?
I was born in West Dallas, Wisconsin, 1930.
Okay. And where is that located? I'm not familiar
That's
with it.
from West Dallas is out right across from Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's a little burg inside by Milwaukee.
So almost to Wisconsin. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is in Wisconsin, but it's a Milwaukee. It's a suburb of Milwaukee.
Okay. Okay.
I guess you could probably put it that way.
Yeah. Yep. Well, tell me a little bit. What was it like growing up in West Dallas? And can you tell me some things about when you were a kid? Some things you remember?
I don't remember anything in West Dallas because I was too young when we moved out of there.
Okay.
I was at least the first I can remember I was about 5 years old. That's when we moved up on a farm in Michigan.
All right. What city in Michigan was that?
It's around Stevenson.
Okay. So
That's a little bit further, a little north of Menominee.
Oh, so you're in the northern area of Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of farming did your family do?
Just a homestead, just something to make a living.
Okay. All right. Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had 6 of them, 6 brothers.
Good Lord.
And 7 of us altogether.
That must have been a very busy household with all those boys.
It was. I got a sister that's over here at Alto, and she's 97.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not the oldest in your family?
No, I'm next to it.
Okay.
I'm next.
All right.
Yeah, I'm next to it. I'm 95. 94.
Okay. So you've seen a few things in your day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about growing up on the farm and having all those siblings. What was that like for you?
For me, it was. I was busy all the time because I was one in the middle of where I did most of my brothers off in the war, and I stayed home and did all the farming, most of it, and so I got into the farming end of it quite a little bit, milking cows and stuff like that. My mom used to help me milk cows because I go to school, and I come back and I take care of the cows. Really.
Right. Well, tell me a little bit about your mom.
She was a jewel.
Uh-huh.
She was a real jewel. She took care of us kids real well.
Yeah. That wasn't easy work either,
No,
was it?
It was hard work for her. She had my baby brother. She bore him, but he died. Died at birth. So there would have been one more there.
8.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, what about your dad? What do you remember about your dad?
My dad was in the First World War, and he was a hard worker.
Yeah.
But he got gassed when he was over in Germany, and it took a lot out of him. He was hurt. He used to like to sing, and that was one of the things that he enjoyed before he passed on. He started singing, and he used to like to sing, but he lost that when he got gassed.
It damaged his lungs, right?
Yeah. His vocal cords messed him up. But he worked in the woods. He used to go outside northern Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they'd go up in there and they'd logging, just to make a living. Bring back a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, you had to do what you had to do, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sounds like a very hardworking person.
He was a hard worker.
Yeah. Well, tell me, Vern, a little bit about school. What was school like for you, and how long did you go to school?
I graduated from school
Okay.
in Stevenson School, Stevenson High School. I was able to go to high school, and it kept me busy. But going to school and then taking care of the farm, and going to school, and the Lord blessed me. He really has.
Yeah.
I could not have attained it without some help. And so I was milking cows and feeding cows, and to get to milk or to get our cows watered, we had to go across the road, which was a county road, and we had to take them across the road into a spring. We had a spring on our property. Went down there and give them their water, and then I come back. One time I didn't make it all the way back to across the road. The car come over the hill and took off one of our cows.
Oh no, that's kind of a hazard though, right? Because
Yeah.
you had to cross.
And it was an insurance man, believe it or not.
Well, hopefully he had good insurance.
Yeah. He tried to beat us out of it.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
I'm sure he did.
But we lost that one cow. But otherwise we did pretty good. We didn't, of course, prices of milk wasn't up there either, but.
Right. Just a lot of hard work, but you were making a living
lot of
at
hard
it.
work, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you join the Marine Corps, and how did that happen for you?
I went to the mailbox and I had my greetings, so we used to always say the greetings. Well, I got my greetings and I had to report to Escanaba.
Okay.
Escanaba, they took all the recruits that stayed there overnight. And from there we went to Milwaukee. And from Milwaukee we went out to California, San Diego. And that's where I did my recruiting.
Well, what was it like getting to basic training for you? And did you choose the Marine Corps, or did the Marine Corps choose you?
It was kind of comical. They chose me. Me and there was 13 of us. I went in that little room, and there the guy, mediator, he said, the Marine Corps is looking for 13 good men. Check it. And so that's how all of us got inducted into the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Some of us didn't come back. Some of them went out there. They didn't make it back. I was very fortunate. I made it into the air wing.
Okay.
And they transferred me to Tennessee, Florida, back to California, and then home.
Oh goodness! So you moved. How long did you serve?
2 years.
Okay, that's a lot of moving around for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent me to Florida. They wanted me to go to aircraft school. And so I had to go down there and join that crew down there. And I was a corporal at the time. And so they had all the corporals put in charge of a group of men. Well, wouldn't you know what I had a group of men I had to take charge of.
Oh goodness!
And so I had to march them to school. You don't walk 2 by 2. It was the whole platoon.
Right.
So I had to march them to school, pick them up at school, and take them home. And that was a daily thing. And I had to take my studies along with it.
Right. That was a bonus, right? The
Oh,
bonus
yeah.
was you got to do all this extra work.
Yeah, yeah. I had all that extra piled on you. But I get kind of used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the cadence when I was in the boot camp. I learned, so that helped me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I had to learn that all over again, you know. But I did all right.
Well, that's good. I struggled with cadence because I don't have very good rhythm.
Yeah.
So cadence was difficult for me in
Was
basic
it?
training. It was. I'm not going to lie. It was very difficult. But so you worked on aircraft. Then.
Yeah.
Is that was your job?
Yeah.
So did you work on the airframes, or did you work on the motors, or just the whole?
It was what we call the A&E,
Uh-huh.
aircraft and engine.
Okay.
And so I worked on the engine mostly. And I worked on fuselage also.
Yeah.
I had a master sergeant that took me under his wing, and we worked on the fuselage.
Uh-huh.
He was a great guy. I miss that old boy.
Yeah.
He was a real good leader, and me and him got along real good. He was a master sergeant. He was in charge of the whole crew. When I come back on my school, I ended up back in the same outfit again.
Oh.
And he was still there, which was good. So me and Vince got along good in.
Uh-huh. So did you know Vince pretty much your whole time in?
Well, most of it, I guess I was in school, most of it,
Uh-huh.
or a lot of it, I was in school. And when I got back out of school, I noticed me and Vince got together again. But he was a real leader.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they had him in there for. He was master sergeant. I know he was just a master sergeant. That guy, he told me one time. He says, "You want to borrow my uniform?" He said, "To go to town." Good grief! And he has chevrons all down to his, from his stripes down to his sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know how many years he had there, 20 some years in.
So he probably served in World War II then, right?
He probably did.
Yeah. And now it's the Korean War as well. So he probably saw a lot of stuff.
He saw a lot of stuff. Yeah, he was a very knowledgeable man.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he taught me some of the things about the aircraft itself. And when I got to school, I had to learn some more.
Right.
They gave me another book to read.
So this was a lot different from farming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a whole lot different than. I come back home from there, and I went back into farming and woods work again.
Mm-hmm.
And logging, and I went with my brother, my oldest brother, and we got together, and I started a family right after that.
So you got married. Did you get married right after the Marine Corps then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pretty much went in the Marine Corps and went to school, learned how to work on airplanes, and then got out. Did
Got
you?
out, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal.
No. There was. It was about the time when they were letting all the guys go back home.
Right. Right. It was that period of time where there was really nothing going on,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so.
So they discharged us.
Yeah. Yep. So you, how did you meet your wife?
Well, she was a home gal,
Uh-huh.
close to home. I used to work in the woods with her brothers, and that's how I got to know her,
Uh-huh.
through the woods. And she kept corresponding with me when I was in service.
Okay. So you knew her before you left,
Yeah,
And-
basically I
yeah.
did. Yeah,
and then she would
yeah.
send you letters and.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you came home, and so I'm going to assume her brothers were okay that you dated her.
Oh yeah, they
Okay.
didn't care.
Okay.
They worked in the woods like I did.
So they knew you.
Yeah, I knew them.
So what kind of stuff did you do? Logging? You were actually like cutting down trees and then hauling them out.
Yeah,
Is that what you
yeah.
were doing? Okay.
All sizes, all sizes. Logs, pulpwood, firewood. I done everything with it. If it was a tree there, I cut it down, done something with it.
Right, because they were just clear cutting at that time, right?
Well, there was a period of time when they were clear cutting, and then there was a period of time when they were just cutting. Select cut, they call it all select cutting, and then there was different grades of wood that we used to cut. Now there was pulpwood, and then there was. Well, then we used to have special timbers, and we used to have guys come in from the mill, and they come in there. They mark all the logs because it was special wood, So we had to cut them special, and we cut them a little bit longer than normal is, because they had to trim them in the mill. They'd trim them in the mill.
Right, and they wanted just a really good section of that wood, right?
They wanted, yeah. They made veneer out of it.
Okay.
We used to make veneer out of that logs, and that was the only ones we were really making some money on when it was cutting veneer. That was more expensive.
So how long did you do that?
Oh, I'd done that most of my life.
Okay.
Off and on most of my life.
Okay. And so I'm kind of bouncing around, but there's a lot of a lot of interesting things here. So you came back and started working. So did you get married right away when you got back, or?
Yeah, not long after that. My wife was staying with my sister, my oldest sister. She was living alone, and she had her kids, and so my wife was there helping her, working, staying with her, and I just go up the road and pick her up. Okay. We got together, and my sisters, they started going to a little church up there, and we all started going to that church. And I had a sister and two sisters and a brother-in-law that we used to start out in that church, a little Baptist church.
Okay.
And that's where I met Jesus. I talked to that pastor up there, and right after that, then I got married.
It sounds like your beliefs in religion are an important part of your life.
Important, very important.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, very important.
So did you and your wife get married in that little church then?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. We got married in a little church. We went up to Escanaba, which is a little bit north and Escanaba, and then there's a little place up in there. What to go? Well, I'm trying to think. Anyway, we went up there and enjoyed our honeymoon, so to speak, and then we come back, and I had something in my mind. This was where it gets interesting. I got in my mind that, I was going to get a job, work that job out, retire from it. That was that was my plan of attack.
Yeah.
Well, I got up there and I said, well, I told my wife, I said, well, I'm going to stop at the police station, state police station up above us there. And I stopped in there. The Lord said, no, you ain't going there. I started, I went in there, I was 2 inches too short.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't realize there was a height requirement to be a state police officer back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was, they changed that later on, but.
Right. Well, that's
And
not where the good Lord wanted you, though, is it?
Yeah. He didn't want me there. And they had an opening up at Escanaba, I understand, but I just didn't feel like going in the city cops.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it. They didn't meet my mental criteria. And so I went back home. We went back in the woods, and I got a job in town in the boat factory.
Uh-huh.
Worked in the boat factory for a couple of years, I guess. And I got sicker than a dog. And I hadn't, what was it? I had it in my hip. Anyway, the doc had to give me shots in my hip to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of there. I went back in the woods again. I told you I was.
Oh yeah, back and forth, right?
Wherever it can make a living.
Yeah.
And that's what I ended up back in the woods again. And I worked in the woods until what was it? I just felt that I ought to go to school. So I come down here in Grand Rapids to Baptist College.
Uh-huh.
And I went to school down there, night school. I graduated from there, by the way. And I went to school down there, and I said, well, what am I going to go for now? I went from there, and I knew the personnel manager of the factory I worked in down there. Then I went to see him. I said, well, I'll go see Jim, and I'll get my job back to figure out what I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
Jim looked at me and says, I can't help you, Vern. He said, I don't have anything for you. So the Lord says, no, you ain't doing this. So I done something. Where was it? I forget what I did. I went somewhere else, and I got another job. I think it was. I had several jobs.
Yeah.
Jumped around, just wherever I could make money to make a living, you know. So I stayed in Grand Rapids for a little while.
Now, was your wife in Grand Rapids with you then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then her mother got ill.
Uh-huh.
And she wanted to go up to her with her mother. I said, well, I'm going to pray about it, see what we're going to do. And it so happened that the place that I was working at downtown in Grand Rapids, they closed the whole second shift on me. And I was working on the second shift, and I was the maintenance in the second shift. And so I got laid off there. I said, okay. So I sold everything that I had, moved everything, and packed it in the truck, and hauled it back up north again, back in the woods. And I worked with my brother-in-laws, and they were working in the woods. And I worked with them for a little while, and then I went in with my brother. So I switched up, went to my brothers and brother-in-laws, and wherever I could make a living and where I felt comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I ended up running around the country with them two guys. So I don't know what I did after that.
So did you have any kids in the meantime? In
No,
between all this? Okay.
one on the way.
Okay.
My son was on the way.
Mhm.
So, and so that made Dad scratch the gravel a little bit and get a whole life started. I think I moved back down here again.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, when I got back up north in the woods, what was that I did after that? Oh, I worked in a boat shop. Then I got back in the woods again, and I got tired of that. That was a winter job. Sometimes winter jobs, and when you get weather like this, we had to have something good and solid to walk around that cement or in that frozen tundra.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in wintertime, it was good working up there because we could work in the swamps.
Mm-hmm.
In the swamps where it all froze over.
Right.
And so we could go from there and there. My brother and I had a cat with a loader on it.
Uh-huh.
And we had a truck with a loader on it. We had another truck with nothing on it. We just loaded it and hauled it to the woods. So
Right.
it would.
And so those are easy to get in and out when it's frozen, but
Oh, yeah.
the springtime it's a whole different story.
When it's when you get weather like this,
Yeah.
you stay out of the woods.
Yeah.
We used to call it break-up time. When you get in closer to break-up time,
Mhm.
you gotta get out of the woods, pull our equipment out of there, go take it back home and let it set.
Yep.
Nothing much you can do with that. The only thing that I can recall is when we had break-up time, but we go in and we'd cut the wood, and then when it thawed out a little bit, we get it in the woods and haul it out.
Okay.
But that was very slim.
Yeah.
Up there in the UP, you went by the weather.
Right.
And if we didn't have good frozen weather in the wintertime, we didn't work. And summertime would come around, I went back in the farm again.
So you always had something to do.
You know,
Yeah.
back on the farm, getting the cows all fixed up, then we pulled the hay in.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like the threshing job because I used to like to eat.
It all works out.
And we'd go to some of those farms that are on, and some of those gals can really cook.
Yeah.
I mean, they put on a feed, and me and my buddies, we'd go from one farm to the other. That's what they would do. One farmer would say, well, I need so many men, and so Dad had to supply a couple guys to go in the woods or into the fields and haul the grain in or whatever. And that's how we made all of that. But I'd get in there, them old Polish mamas, man, they could kick it around some of them Swedes. We was in there with the Swedes and the Polish, and that was good food. That was good food.
Oh yeah, you definitely got a good meal there.
Oh.
That's for sure.
They put that on the table. They had a huge table in there,
Uh-huh.
about 3 times the size of this one. And that's what they had. They had a big family, and that's what we used for There's a lunch table.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you had your son was on the way. So when was he born?
He was born in right after I got back from Escanaba.
Okay.
Not long after that. I think I think he was born in. Oh, you got me figuring there.
Oh, nope. So he was born right around that
Yeah.
time. So you would work the woods in the wintertime and then work the farm in the summertime.
Yeah.
And is that kind of what did you ever find that job where you were going to work till you retired?
No, never did.
Yeah.
Never did.
Isn't it funny how our plans aren't necessarily his plans?
No. He said, I have my plans for you. Your plans are different than mine. And so I've been out. I got back down in here and then until my wife's mother got sick. And then
Yeah.
went back north again. Worked in the woods and then when she passed, I come back down here again. I've been up and down Michigan all over.
You probably know your way around, I would imagine.
I used to know everybody.
Yeah.
I used to know Grand Rapids. I knew this place when I was there. They were just building it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to over here at Coit, where they had a clinic over there.
Uh-huh.
Just up in that. And I used to go to that clinic quite often. Now they turned it into a church, I guess.
Everything changes, doesn't
Yeah.
it? So did you have any other children, or just the?
Well, I've got it. Then I had when I went to Bible school.
Uh-huh.
Then my daughter was born. About the time that I got out of Bible school. So her birthday's pretty close to my graduation.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good timing.
Yeah. And then I don't know what I did after that. I had to stop and think.
Okay. All right.
I know I left Grand Rapids again when my wife's mother passed, and we had to help with that. My wife's mother was she was a stickler.
Uh-huh.
She was a Roman Catholic. Good people. And she told my wife one time, she said, oh, incidentally, when I get up to this point, the Lord took all of my desires for drinking or smoking, took them all away. I had no desire, still don't.
Yeah.
Still don't have a desire for any of that stuff anymore. I mean, it's just gone. You know, like you.
Because you have what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't desire it. And so my wife was talking with her mother one day, just to show you that people are watching. And she told Shirley one day, she said, Vern really doesn't drink or smoke, does he? That old woman was watching me all the time. And if I'd have took one drink, it'd have been all over with. The test had been completed. But I got along good with her.
Uh-huh.
Me and old Mama, we got along real good, yeah. And she was German, and her husband was German and French.
Mm-hmm.
but they were all staunch Catholic. But we got along good with them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah. I still get along real good. I get Christmas cards from them, and from their kids, and I've had a ministry ever since then. From opportunities come up, and I'd lead somebody to the Lord or something like that, and it's been interesting, very interesting. Can you imagine what I had? The Lord, I just started on something. The Lord said, "No, not that one, not that way." And how many times He did that to me?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Not that way, not now." You know where I ended up? Here. And what did I do? When I got here, they set me in the room in there, and the Lord gave me a whole bunch of audience.
Yeah.
I had kids come in there, young people come here, come and ask questions. And so that's what I've been doing since I've been here.
Yeah. Well, everything happens for a reason, don't you think, Vern?
Yeah, he said, no, you're not going to do it. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. I ended up back in the old folks home.
I haven't met any old folks here. I've met some seasoned folks, but no old folks. I feel like a lot of people here are really sort of enjoying themselves.
I've got some awfully good friends here.
Yeah.
Really good friends. I have, I'm 94.
Wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, thank you.
Wouldn't know it. I want to ask, how long have you and Shirley been married?
We were married 70-some years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I had a good woman.
Yeah.
I had an excellent woman. She was with me all the way.
If I had to ask you, like, what is one of your favorite memories of Shirley? What would that be?
When we went to Ireland on one of our trips, the kids sent us out over there to our anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And that would be the highlight, I think. My wife was just loved that place. Going to Ireland over there.
Uh-huh.
And so that was one of the highlights we had.
Sounds like a great memory.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. When you say it's important to find a good woman, I mean, she was with you the whole time. It sounds like whether times were good or whether times were not so good.
She was there all the time. And she and I worked. I was deacon in the church in Grand Rapids down here.
Uh-huh.
I was deacon in there for many years, and she was a number one cook. Also, I'm spoiled rotten. I come here and I eat this stuff and I say,
not the same,
again.
is it?
No.
No.
And nowhere near it. But I seen the time we was up at Stevenson Baptist Church up there. I was deacon up there, and we had an older pastor, and he said, "Sure," he said, "I got a job for you." And he was setting up a Jewish meal, and he told her what she had to have. And she made that meal for the Jewish style. She'd done that for him. He'd come up to her and ask her to do that for him. So that's the kind of a gal I had.
Yeah.
She was Class A. And I do miss her.
Yeah. How long has she been gone?
4, 5 years.
Yeah. That had to be hard. I mean, after 77 years, that's a long time.
It's hard, hard. And, but I've got some real good friends here to help, yeah.
Yeah.
Some real good friends.
Well, that's good. Can you tell me a little bit about your children and what they do or what they did?
My daughter is another good cook, and she lives at a home,
Mm-hmm.
but she's got a couple of women. They're there that love her cooking, and she'll cook her meals for them. And if she's got to go anyplace, they can still drive yet, and they take her there.
Oh, that's great.
It's kind of a give and take.
Yeah.
But Cindy's a real good cook. She makes good food out of nothing. And my son, my daughter-in-law, she was a school teacher. She was a retired school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And my son has got the brewery over there in Allendale.
Okay.
He wanted to have a business. He's a businessman.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted a business of his own. And this came up, so he bought that. Now he's trying to sell it, trying to get rid of it. He's got too many years behind him to take all that responsibility.
Yeah.
And
So I want to ask you a question then. What's it like to have your children be at that age where even though you're much older than them, you're kind of almost on an equal, do you know what I mean? Like, what's it like to watch your children grow older?
it's just nothing different, I don't think.
Uh-huh.
I brought him up in the church. And my son got saved in the Baptist church down here on where was it on? I'm going to say Fulton. It wasn't not Fulton. It's on. I'll get it one of these days.
Yeah.
Excuse my memories of don't.
Happens to all of us, Vern.
Yeah, but it's pretty hard to draw it out sometimes.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But that's where those two are. But they've had then there was siblings come out of their families,
Yeah.
and one of them married a woman that has several children, and so I think I got 17 altogether.
You got a big family.
Yeah.
You do. That's a blessing.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
is. It is. And they're good. Most of them are good kids. I got a problem with one boy, but he got into some of that in high school. They gave him some drugs,
Yeah.
and it did not do him any good.
No.
And that's what we got to watch out for these kids today. So they don't get into those drugs. It's easy for them to grab them to go.
Well, I think part of it's just being a good example for them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of showing them what's right and what's wrong.
That's right. And I insisted on my daughter's got two sons, and her husband died here a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so the oldest son of hers looks to me as dad. He always called me dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looks to me as dad. And in fact, he got me a cup. And it's the greatest dad on earth, you know. And I've got that in my room.
That's a pretty high compliment.
Yeah, it is. And he's been out working now. He works in the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's away from home quite a little bit now, till they get the greenhouse all set up, and then he'll come back and get back to regular standard wages or wage
Yeah.
and work schedule. But they'll come back, and he calls me. He says, "Grandpa, what? We gotta go out." He says, I gotta come over and see you." He's always been one that come to see me, more so than any of the others. He always thinks about me. And that's a big plus.
Yeah. That is.
So one of
That's
these
special.
days, yeah,
That's very special.
it is. And he got in trouble. He got wrecked his car years ago, a few years back, and it taught him a tremendous lesson. And now he's looking for a woman. He's looking for the right girl. I told him, I says, "Don't go in a bar and look for him, because you're not gonna find a good one there." Well, thank the Lord for an example of their grandma, their grandma and their mother, and that they live on that, like you said earlier, the sample
Yeah.
that you leave for the kids. Well, that's what we try to do, leave an example for them, and it's working out great.
Yeah, it's tough because when you're a parent, you give them all the tools that they need, and then at some point, they're either going to use the tools or they're not going to use the tools.
That's exactly right.
You almost have to hold your breath and wait to see what happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you get into a position, though, with your children, and their children come up and ask you questions, and if you don't give them the straight answers, they'll find them. Kids will find answers for it. I've got my oldest grandson is over in Walker, and excuse me, and he's got 2 daughters and 2 sons. So, the kids are jewels. Tell you what, her character they are. Once I went to so the youngest one was getting baptized, and we went with their church with him. He was just a little guy.
Yeah.
And I stood in the church waiting for people to get done talking and, visiting, carousing. And I stood over there, one spot, by the door. First thing you know, here comes the little guy. He didn't want me to stand alone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
Yeah. That's the kind of kid he is.
What a great kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want me to stand alone, so.
Yeah.
So he and I hit it off. And so, yeah, that whole family, they were raised in the Baptist church, and fortunately, they've had some good pastors.
That's important.
Yeah, and they go from there into Sunday school, and they learn things, and this little boy here has to teach them right away. I have a real hard job sometimes,
It can be challenging.
Yeah.
It can be.
but thank the Lord for it. I mean, your ways are different than my ways, and so what he does is he does what he does best. Steers them here and steers them there.
Right. Right. And sometimes if you take a wrong turn, you get a course correction.
Well, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing
No.
at all. Well, Vern, you have lived a very interesting life, and it's not a lot of people that meet someone and stay married for 77 years. That's amazing to me. You served your country, you took care of your family, you've served your Lord, and you have this extended family. It's just continuing to grow. And so, kind of as we wrap up our discussion today, I want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
So, when someone hears you talk, and listens about your life, and hears this conversation that we have today, what lesson do you want them to take away from that? What would you like people to learn from how you lived your life?
See, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. There ain't no other way.
Yeah. And what exactly do you mean by that?
You gotta get a hold of the Lord and hang on, because he said he'll never leave us nor forsake us, and to know him. And then he said, well, come on, all you little children, come up under me. Jesus loves little children. Ain't no doubt about it. He loves little children, and these people are killing them left and right. And he loves little children, and he'll guide them and direct them in where they're going to go. And that's the only way you can do is an old guy than my age. I still gotta move them in the right way to the Lord. I talk these kids here. I talk to a lot of them constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll come up to them and ask me some questions, And I make mistakes? Sure, I make them. And I'll probably make them until I die, but...
That's right. I think we're all that way, though.
Yeah.
None of us is perfect.
No,
None
not
of us
yet.
is perfect. No, it'll happen, though.
Yeah, not yet.
All right. Well, I want to say thanks for taking the time out to talk with me. It's been a pleasure
Thank you.
to learn about you.
Thank you for watching the story of one of our nation's heroes on Veterans Archives, where your story matters. We are dedicated to preserving these stories for future generations.